Child psychology from a Zickening point of view. Dr. Horace W. Zickening here with us in our studio. We have quite a lot of mail that's piled up here, and I want to get right to the questions from Tucson, Arizona. Mrs. Leipzig McGee writes that her son would like to become a movie star. He's 4 years old. How can I explain to him just why this would be impossible?
Well,
maybe you don't think it would be impossible, Doctor.
I'd tell this woman that this child of 4 years has hardly reached the age of reason. So she would have to talk slowly. And this I recommend in all cases. Never raise the voice when you're speaking to a child. It only frightens him. Explain to him in simple language how at 4 years it's impossible for him to become a movie star. Explain it over to him several times so that you're sure he understands.
In other words, that the long climb to Hollywood fame, through dramatic lessons and screen tests and so forth, would be well out of his reach.
That's right. And then if he persisted in this desire, whack him.
All right. Well, Doctor, I think we have maybe time for one more here. This is from Mr. Farbinger Thurkel, who says his son, Farbinger Thurkel, Jr., this is similar to the other case, would like to become a sheep herder, and all the time is talking about that. What can he do?
Certainly that one has humorous overtones. How old is this young fellow?
He's 8.
Wants to be a sheep herder. Here again, it's a simple case of explaining to the boy that sheep herding isn't all that it probably is painted to be, that the remuneration probably isn't too great, and that there are other handicaps of being a sheep herder, as we know. Explain to him also that probably by the time he reaches 21, he probably wouldn't be interested in it. Explain to him in a quiet voice and try to make as much sense as possible to him. And then if he still persists, whack him.
Now it's child psychology in a Zickening fashion. Dr. Clifford W. Zickening, our guest and child guidance editor of Bob and Ray Enterprises, is here with us with a stack of letters, and I presume you're going to try and answer some of the questions contained therein, Doctor.
I certainly am, and I'd appreciate it very much, announcer, if you'd read the problem.
All right, here's the first problem for Dr. Zickening, and it is from a lady who has a young 8-year-old son who aspires to be mayor, and she'd like to know how to explain to him that she doesn't think he has a chance.
I gather, then, that he aspires to be mayor at the age of 8.
That's right.
The problem. Well, this has comic overtones. Here you have a youngster who is very anxious to participate in the running of his own community, which I think is an admirable trait in any child.
Yes.
I would advise the parent in this case to speak to the child in conversational tone. Always do that. If you raise your voice, then that your message doesn't get through. You frighten the child, which you don't want to do. Explain to him that, for one thing, 8 years old, he hasn't had enough experience to be mayor of a large city.
Of course.
And to tell him also that it's nice of him to aspire to it, but to stop thinking that way until he's old enough. And then, if he still desires it and still talks about running for mayor at the age of 8, whack him.
All right, thank you very much. There are a couple of answers. We hope that they'll answer problems that others of you who have similar problems have written in. And next week, the doctor will take up some more interesting questions. Child psychology in a Zickening fashion. Dr. Clifford W. Zickening.